morning, good evening, good afternoon for all of you out there. Welcome, Ladder Legends. Make sure I'm recording. Yes, I am. So we're having a look at one of others. Cryptes is one of his Terran openers here versus Zerg. We're going to be having a look at, is this imbalanced? Does this Terran have a chance to win the game? Now, obviously, that's a trick question because, of course, every Terran and Zerg and Protoss have every chance of winning each game as long as they follow the rules. So let's have a look at the scouting timers. Let's have a look at whether Cryptes is a rule breaker. Now, ideally, what a lot of players should be doing, especially at these elos, is making sure that they are scouting relatively early. Now, that can be an 18 supply or after the barracks as well. So let's have a look at what Cryptes likes to do. Now, we're lucky because in this game, we can actually see the map and we can see the production tab and what our opponent is making. But obviously in the game, Cryptes can't see that. So it looks like a generic Reaper expand, very similar to the last review.
Command center upgrade complete.
An absolutely fantastic command center complete narrative there. As we do try and now deny this third base with the worker, which is great. And now the Reapers go into the other third to see whether there is another worker going in there or not. And right now you can actually pull this worker back. You can actually pull that back. If they do have a worker that's here, I mean, you'd be very unlucky, but you've been able to deny something, which is good. And now we've got the Marine coming out, and the Marine usually patrols here. I love that. I think that's a very similar position to what I do and a lot of people do. Now with this Reaper, what's really, really important is you need to see 3 to 5 workers that are in the natural. Now this is really, really important. If you see no workers in this natural, that means your opponent has stayed on the gas. Really, really important for you Diamond and Master players to take note of. There's a lot of workers here, so that means that it is likely that your opponent has taken off of gas, but you do need to confirm that at 3 minutes to 3 minutes 20. Yeah, that's what you do need to confirm, of whether that they are still on gas or not. Yeah, so just before link speed finishes. Reapers here, and now you can see the Queen coming out. Your opponent definitely wants to take an expansion. The third base is on the way, and what I like to do is actually go for Hellions here quite early, as I said in the last game. Again, being very annoying here, and that worker is going to die at the cost of losing the Reaper. So now, even though you've denied the third, and it's great that you've denied the third for quite a while, you now don't know whether your opponent has stayed on the gas and gone into roaches. Yeah, or gone back into gas and gone roaches while you're going into Hellions. You need to know whether your opponent is being aggressive or not at the early stages of the game. So we come to this almost similar scenario as the one in Incorporeal. The main difference is we don't really have a Reaper to scout. So let's have a look at what we can do with these Hellions and whether there's going to be any backstabbing that's happening. Because any extra supply depots should be at the front, and then 2 engineering bays should finish us off. Now the Hellions are really designed to just be annoying. Now, you could actually come onto the creep a bit more if you wanted to, but I don't blame you for not, because you just want to kill the creep on the edge. I think this is very, very good. This is reasonable to do. We've got the 2 Banshees that are coming in as well, so 2 barracks and still lack of 2 engineering bays. This seems to be a problem here with Cryptes. He doesn't like upgrades. 2 engineering bays are important. Okay, so we've got the 2 engineering bays slightly quicker, then 2 gases as well. Good. So we're getting there. We're slowly getting there. Once we've drop down this mule, we must lift this third up into the third base here, because we've got our Banshees to cover our base. We've got a lot of units to cover, so we need those Banshees to go across the map and to be annoying. Unlucky with the movement here, so moving your Hellions way too much in the game. So unfortunately he was able to you lost your 6 Hellions again for nothing. Yeah, this is really, really important that we cannot lose them for nothing. Your objective is to scout for the 4th base, but what's really, really good in this one is we could get some worker kills, and oh no, we're not going to get any. We're going to get 1 worker kill. Is that it? That's it. I think there's 1 worker kill. So at the moment, these Reapers, these Hellions and these Banshees are not working out for you, Cryptes. This opener does not work out for you. You're not getting the right damage. Your opponent can just kill that army, and now they're free to roam forever. This is almost carbon copy of the last game. This is a similar issue that you have. The 2 Banshees are there to try and deny the 4th, deny any units from coming across the map. Yes, your opponent could be a massive smurf. That is a possibility. but you can't just lose those units on purpose. Also, your third base is monstrous. It, monstrously late. I think that's a really good word. In fact, monstrously late. That's how late this is. Yeah, because your third base, once you're naturally saturated, your third base should come down as well. This is really, really important. And we actually go for a couple of mines here, and then we go into tanks again. You're playing against Ling Bane once again, so I'd like to see you at least flipping it. Go into some mines instead, properly, so that we can actually take some good trades in this game. Because right now, we are an even amount of workers, which is great. We also need a couple more barracks, and then we're on to a solid 2-2 timing here. And once we've got the 2 medevacs come out, we're going to use them to be aggressive. Right now, you are sitting back again. It's coming now up to the 8-minute mark, and we've not moved a single unit across the map. Yes, the creep spread is that far across the map. Some people really focus on that. But to be honest, in terms of economy and resource-wise, your army looks pretty good. You just aren't using these 2 medevacs to do anything, or any one of your early units. It's a passive opener here from you, Cryptis. What could we do with 2 medevacs and 16 marines? Clear all this creep, force him to come in, try and drop the main, try and go over here. You can try to do something, but your opponent is now taking control of the map himself. And this is just too late. We're coming up to 8 minutes 50 in the game, and now you get the courage to do a double drop. So let's see what this does. So we drop all the way here. We are going to be able to deny base. That's great. 180 to 152 supplies, so we've got a lot of army. And now we're in prime position to get across the map with 2-2 and do a lot of good damage, hopefully. Unfortunately, because our opponent, we've waited until 10 minutes to do something, our opponent now has Hydras and now has Infestors on the map. And you can see him, wow, your opponent used a lot of those fungals. So hopefully our army can start to go across the map. Again, not aggressive enough here at the start of the game. We see that they were expanded on this side of the map, but we are going to this side, which is fine, I guess. But now our units get caught off. We're not choosing to do anything here, but we do have 2-2, which is good. Great baning hit right in the middle of all of those units. And right now we're trying to do some damage here. We know that they've got Infestors, but we keep our units clumped. We have no more units that are coming across the map to shield our units. If that army was coming across the map, that would be very scary for our opponent here. Because once our opponent engages, we could actually have done a little bit more here. We've got all this army sitting here when they could have been parade push across the map. I guarantee you actually win that fight and kill all of those units. You've got more army supply. They should be parading across the map to try and get to this position to continually siege your opponent. You almost give your opponent some fresh airspace. Yes, there are going to be run-bys. Yes, it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. Your opponent isn't just going to allow you to win the game. And this is it. 12 minutes, we're going to try and fight again. Half our army is attacking the hatchery. Half our army is attacking Hydras, or very little of our army. And now our army is becoming split again. We've got Marauders in front of Marines. We're trying to split a little bit, but unfortunately we don't. We're stimming sections of our units instead of everything. And the Hydras with their DPS can just clear it up. You can see this as clear as day. They haven't even got +1 missile. Yeah, as our 3-3 is being completed here. Crazy. So again, our opponents are allowed to go up to 88 workers because of the fact that of the lack of aggression at the start of the game. That's all. Real lack of aggression. And keeping those units alive is so important. Killing some of this creep, that's a great job again, but it's 14 minutes in the game. Great fungal here. This will probably be the best fight that you'll take, but you need to pull those Hydras out of this zone, and hopefully you'll be able to do well. And a lot of them absolutely got shredded by the +3 there, but now you've got to wait until your units get produced up again. And then by the time we maxed out again, he's going to be maxed out as well. The Liberators are fine. Ghost would have been even better. So you can snipe a lot of these Hydras as they run away. And unfortunately here, you're just constantly running to and from. Your opponent has complete control of the map. Not the greatest economy, actually, to be completely honest with you. Marauders getting caught out here, but there was a pretty good Bane hit. And then, okay, tank getting hit there. We've got a lot of Liberators here, but we're not really doing much. Oh, no! Oh, all of those units was very, very close to being killed here. And again, very, very passive here. But how can I be passive? How can I not be passive, Richie? There's infestors. Well, if it's taken us for 10 to 11 minutes to try and get some action going, it is going to be difficult. So now we've got some ghosts out, and what's really important here is if we land some really good EMPs, this army, because he hasn't got a lot of AoE, let's have a look at whether there's any Banings, and we've got 3-3. There's 4 Banings, and we've got 3-3. Yeah, we've got 120 army supplied to 115. Let's have a look at whether we're able to at least get some good EMPs off on this army. And we're leading with the ghosts here, and that's very scary. Very, very scary. Oh, we need to watch out here. Your opponent's making a critical mistake in jumping into this, but we're not engaging with when he's underneath these liberators. That's a huge mistake, and we do snipe some of these units, but we ideally need to EMP these infestors. If the infestors can't fungal us, they can't really move. Again, we're not really doing anything here to push our opponent back. We're playing very, very passive, and we're not able to push this. Even if there's a slight lead, or whether we can EMP some of his army, none of these units get EMP'd as they come in. We're using the snipes as well, and he's fighting underneath this shroud that increases attack speed and reduces damage. So they're allowed to break into positions this way, and it feels unfair. But the fight here, you could have easily just EMP'd all of the Hydras here. As they come, EMP'd all the Hydras, EMP'd all of the infestors that they're within range here. You could just EMP. All of this army now dies for free. Look how long it takes them. Look, this guy to put up this shroud here. It takes them a very long time. All the fungals go off as well. We're trying to do snipes as well. We sniped a couple of units, which is great. As the fungals hit, some of them actually cancel their snipes as well. And again, not a very good day for us as a Terran player. Too passive in the game, and unfortunately, with that being said as well, our opponent can now just kill the rest of our bases here. Certainly continually attack around and around. Remax and Remax, very similar to you, but with a bigger bank. More economy. And I don't know whether we win this or not, but certainly this isn't looking too fantastic for you at this current time. A lot of Hydras coming out here. All of these units die. It's very, very unfortunate. So Cryptids, again, what we really need to focus on, and even if you do win this game, what we really need to focus on is doing some of that 1-1 damage with Marines in Medivacs and being some sort of aggressive boogeyman to these Zerg players, because these Zerg players are being able to do what they want in your games, my friend. You can't have that. That's illegal. That's what we call illegal in this matchup. Now, yes, you can play late game, but if your late game consists of your opponent taking control of the map and you trying to take miracle fights, it's going to be very hard for you to progress the ladder up consistently. And now, unfortunately, with the infestors, there's just the fog of the orange fog of death, and unfortunately, the barcode Zerg wins. So, 3 things that we need to work on in this game as well: scouting what our opponent is doing, so we're making mines or tanks. Once that's been done, what we need to do is then apply aggression with 2 medevacs with 16 marines somewhere. We also need to work on that unit survivability. Again, the same game as on Incorporeal. You're losing these Hellions for free. You're losing your Banshees for free also. Once you've lost both sets of those units, the Zerg can do what they want. Again, I certainly would advise you to go 1-1-1, 6 Hellions into a Liberator harass, and then that way you get a later third, and then you're able to get your 2 barracks, and then 2 engineering base, and then 2 gases. Slightly later third, yes, you probably need to do slightly more damage, but at least your units are out at a quick pace, and you're not going to lose to anything stupid. Thank you again, good luck, have fun, and hopefully that helped anybody else that struggle versus Zerg. Try not to be too passive. You have the army, you have the units, let's use them. The worst case scenario is when your Lings and Banings surround your 16 Marines, pick them up and run away. Well, that's another replay analysis, number 2 for Cryptids. It must be his birthday. Have a lovely rest of your day, everyone. Stim and win, baby. Stim and win. And I'll see you guys soon.